Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome everybody into Mafia Bets on the Overreaction Sports Network, presented by FanDuel. Episode 2, week 2 of the NFL Mafia Bets. This episode brought to you, as I said, by FanDuel. This is a Bills Mafia-based sports betting show where we're going to talk about the Buffalo Bills matchup from last week and this week. We're going to give you the ins and outs and whys and why nots. What you should be betting, what you should be staying away from. We're going to recap what we did last week, and we're going to end with the hammer bet of the week, something that you should just jump all over. But my name is Joe Miller, and you can find me on Twitter at Joe Miller Wired, alongside my co-host, Daniel Frederick. Dan the man, who you can find on Twitter at Buffalo Freddy. Please do us a favor. Please like, please subscribe, whatever platform you are consuming this presentation on right now, whether it's live with us right now on YouTube or Twitter, or if it's in podcast form. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button if you can for when we go live, if you're on YouTube. That way you never miss an episode. But we are so good to have you with us. Excited. Dan, how you doing?
Oh, we are good. I started the podcast with how football was back, and it was wonderful. Well, after that week, it's just perfect right now. I can't believe what happened week 1. It was incredible.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure all Bills Mafia is on a big high right now.
Yeah, what a football game. As we're going to start with just a recap of last week and then talk about this week's Bills matchup against the Jets and just kind of some stuff that's come out yesterday with Ed Oliver and how it's going to affect this defense. But man, oh man, did that game go kind of the way we thought, and then it kind of didn't go the way we thought, and then it ended, Dan, fellow season ticket holder, in a way that we never see these games end.
20 plus years that hasn't happened for me.
My daughter and I are sitting there through that whole sequence from the fumble on, just waiting for that final shoe to drop that caused it, which I thought was the missed 2-point conversion. I was like, oh, that's it. That's the football game right there. It's done. And then they punt, or they kick the ball off. They get the ball back and right down the field. And it's like, what is happening?
I think we feel like mentally cursed. We're just used to it not working out. But we have Josh Allen. It's just it's a different feel. It really is.
Yeah.
I don't think at any point I really lost hope in that game, but I never expected to win. But I never got the feeling that we were just done.
There was the moment Derrick Henry rips off that last 45 or 52-yard touchdown run, and the Bills get the ball back, and then they punt. And I was like, well, that's probably it. And I think that's when most of the people left. I think there was a bunch that left when Henry's last run happened, and then there was more people that left at the punt. And then from there, it just, things that you would expect this team to be able to do that they just haven't been able to close out. They did it. And the Ravens, to who knows what, we've been on that side of it a million times, more than we can possibly count for the last 20-25 years. But it was fun to watch. Now, getting into this Jets game, as far as, well, do you want to talk first about some of the bets that you made last week on that game first?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Last week we discussed outliers and how we thought the game was going to go.
Right.
If I'm going to bet a game, I want to make as much money as possible for odds and whatnot. We thought either Lamar goes way off on that game,
right,
or Derrick Henry does, right?
Right.
So I had one of the worst beats you could possibly have, but it's okay. It's quite okay, because this beat led to the Bills winning the game, and for me, that's what matters the absolute most. Even though this is a betting show.
Yes.
So let's take a look at Derrick Henry here. We hit this bet. We won plus 880 odds, which is great odds. I bet both sides of it a little bit. I bet Lamar for huge yards, and I bet Derrick Henry for huge yards. However, Derrick Henry had 177 yards. I think he actually had a couple more at one point.
Yeah.
But last I had looked in the game, I had hit plus 1,700 on Derrick Henry for yardage. I mean, he ran all over us, kind of like we thought could happen, right?
Yep.
And then the Ed Oliver play happened. What a great play. I mean, it's terrible for this week that he's out, but game-changing, season-changing, just the momentum for the team for the whole year. That play, it did it, right? It gave us that game, or at least one of the major factors. But he lost like 9 yards on the play, and it cost us that huge Derrick Henry plus 1,700. So
Vegas knew you had that bet. Vegas knew you had that bet in.
I would think a lot of people had some money on Derrick Henry for huge yards. I mean, the stats just show he's run all over us for years.
Yeah.
But,
so on this Derrick Henry bet, bet 1 unit, won 8.8 units back, right? So a dollar bet gained us $8.80 to come out on top for 980. And which, by the way, we need to talk about the fact that we are up 45 units off of last week.
For the overall bets later on, as far as everything we have this week, everything I put in, I've already bet all 100 units. And I will show a couple more things that we did last week. This one hurts maybe more than the plus 1,700. Last week, we discussed both sides of it, right? I was so sure it was either going to be a ton of rushing or a ton of throwing, right? And it just wasn't ready for that game with all the injuries and the new season and the Ravens just run down people early in the year.
Right.
I said, if Josh is playing catch up in that game, he's going to go for a lot of yards. And he did. I was kind of foolish. The only bet that I put in, and again, I'm limited to 100 units and 100 units to spend each week, but the only bet I put in that involved Josh parlayed with somebody else was Josh 350 yards and Lamar 350 yards. When I look back and think about it, I really should have done Josh as well with Derrick Henry, who had just about the same odds as Lamar did to hit this. So if I bet this same thing, Josh plus 350 or over 350 yards and Lamar over 350 yards, and then I go Josh over 350 yards and Derrick Henry over 150 or over 175, over 150 would have been, it was over plus 8,000. I just didn't because I only picked one of them. I was trying to limit how many bets I did when the game went kind of how we thought, and I missed there for sure.
Yeah, no, I think that's understandable. I mean, there's only so many that you can do. You're trying to go off of what you think. I'm surprised you went with Josh Allen there, because Josh Allen historically has not had great passing games against the Ravens, even in situations where
game situations, Joe.
Right.
You need to put your money in realistic situations that can happen in the game. I'm not putting money on a realistic situation that can't happen if it's even money. No, I don't like that. But when you're getting huge odds, you can miss Derrick Henry 7 straight times, but if he gets it on the 8th one, you're even. But the very first one this year we hit.
Right, for sure. So that's kind of where things landed for us last week with the Bills-Ravens. Now looking forward into the Bills-Jets game. The Bills clearly did not have a great run defensive strategy against Derrick Henry and Lamar. They, as we know, traditionally don't. Going into this Jets game this week, the Jets, Breece Hall was a monster last week against, who'd they play? Remind me, do you remember off the top of your head who they played last week?
The Jets?
Yeah.
Ooh, you caught me while I was doing some work over here.
Anyways, yeah, no worries. Regardless, Breece Hall had a great week last week, and now the news came out yesterday, being Thursday, that Ed Oliver has suffered some sort of a lower leg injury. The expectation due to the walking boot and the scooter is it's a high ankle sprain. He's already been declared out by Coach Sean McDermott for this week. The Bills are still, as everybody knows, do not have Ogunjobi available, nor Hoyt. So we are in a situation where that run defense and that defensive line in general is kind of behind the 8 ball. So we're going to see what happens. But what are you looking for in this football game?
So last week I gave, the standard 3 bets for the Bills. I think that we can do the exact same thing this week. There's a couple that I like. I'm Breece Hall. This line, look at this, 59.5. He's been a Bill crusher.
He has been a Bill crusher.
This actually went up substantially after Ed Oliver was ruled out of the game.
Did it?
When I put all the bets in for the week, I got this line lower, and that's great, right? I've got Breece Hall over, I think, 56.5 yards. I also like he has caught a lot of little dump passes and screens.
Steelers. They beat the Steelers.
Yeah,
the Steelers beat
that
them on
last
Sunday.
play where Garrett Wilson got popped.
Yep.
Yeah, we were tailgating during that game, but I caught the end of that. Rushing and receiving I took actually both these bets for the 3 I'm doing on the Bills game. Over 82.5. I don't see a situation that the Bills completely stop Breece Hall.
Right.
Maybe if we get up huge on them, they're going to have to throw the ball. But even if they get up huge and they're throwing the ball, they're going to be dumping it off to Breece Hall. He got the lion's share last week.
I can't see a world where Justin Fields is trusted to throw the ball all over the field. So.
Yeah, definitely didn't touch any passing with Justin Fields.
Right.
He certainly ain't Lamar. He can run a little bit, but and then James Cook, you saw what happened last week, right? Mm-hmm. James Cook went and caught a little dump pass where I actually really like what Joe Brady's been doing. I've noticed more and more he's been counteracting the blitz with getting the wide receiver out into space. We saw it last year versus Miami. I think it was a fourth down play early in that game on Thursday Night Football when it actually mattered. And then he had a house call on fourth down. James Cook did. He's caught like a 70-yard reception last week. So I like James Cook and Breece Hall for their rushing and receiving yards, both these lines right here. And then I'm not a quitter, Joe. Last week I talked about Josh Palmer. Josh Palmer could have had 2 touchdowns last week.
Yes.
He had 0. Josh missed him a little bit on definitely in that corner route. That was a touchdown. So I'm going to put in the same thing I did last week. It's actually basically the same odds for the touchdown odds for Josh Palmer.
Right.
4-1 and plus 4,500 for Josh Palmer. It should be down here somewhere. 2 touchdowns is right here. Again, I'm not touching anything that has to do with Josh Allen in rushing and whatnot. They're going to be looking for him, and I just don't think the odds are really in our favor.
From a rushing standpoint.
Josh Palmer, 2 touchdowns is plus 4,500. I put 1 unit on it. It's huge if it happens. And I put 2 units on Josh Palmer anytime touchdown here, plus 410.
Gotcha. Very good. So with the one, we would win 45 units back, and with the second one, with the plus 410, we would win effectively 8.2 units back, right?
Correct. Yep.
Gotcha.
That's how the math works there.
Yep. Very good. Very good. Yeah. Just trying to educate, let people kind of know where we're at as far as just the unit thing. And so I probably need to do that at the top of every show. Just talk about the fact that like we are limiting ourselves to 100 units, and that unit for you can be whatever it is, whether it's 10 cents, a quarter, $1, $100, depending on where you are. For us in this situation, it's 100 units, and 1 unit is $1.
The multipliers all work the same. It's just a matter of how much you consider 1 unit.
Right. So what else you got from the Bills game? Anything else? Or are we ready to move on to just a recap of last week's bets that were not Bills related?
I'm not touching the over-under in that game because, we just saw Josh throw all over them. I feel like he can do the same. I think this game is probably a lot more running overall from both teams.
Oh.
I don't think Fields can really throw it downfield on us all day. So
right.
If I was picking one, I'd probably touch the under, but I don't know if I could ever bet in a game that Josh Allen's playing and touch the under. Yeah. So those contradict each other, and I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, there is some mystery coming into this game. Is traditionally with Robert Saleh, who had a really good bead on Josh Allen as far as making him be patient and grinding him down until Josh became impatient, enforced some things which put Josh Allen many times in a negative situation with that defense. Obviously, with the new regime, with Aaron Glenn, we don't know what to expect. Quinton Williams is still there. Sauce Gardner is still there. They've still got some great players on that defense. But it's going to be a little bit of a mystery to kind of see what happened. Now, Aaron Rodgers did have some success against them, so you would expect that Josh Allen in this offense can as well. The big question going into this game is literally that defensive line. What is going to happen with Justin Fields? Does not scare me as a passer, but that defensive line with Breece Hall and Justin Fields as a runner is going to be a bit concerning.
Rodgers versus Allen here. I don't know how to compare the two as far as betting.
Right.
Rhythm quarterback Aaron Rodgers, who gets the ball out in rhythm, has a lot of completions. He's not extending plays at all.
At all.
Yeah. And he did great against the Steelers there in rhythm to where their pass rush was nullified.
Right.
Josh extends every play he can. He's a threat at running, so they're playing him completely different, and he's firing the ball downfield.
Right.
It could be the polar opposite, and Josh doesn't have as good of a game as Aaron Rodgers did because maybe what Rodgers is doing works better against specifically the Steelers.
Right.
I'm not touching any line on that game besides player yardage.
Well, let's tally up how we got to plus 45 off of last week. So we're up 45%, 46%, right around there.
That was a good week. Yeah. The Denver Broncos, I'd like to fire them into the sun.
I think the quote you gave me was who did they play? Remind me again. They played the
Titans.
It's
rookie quarterback, best defense in the league.
If the Broncos don't score more than 9 points on the Titans, take my money because because all day long they should have done that. And I agreed with you. I was like, I think you're right. All day long, like they should.
Bo Nix had an awful game, which he was coming off a pretty decent season in the second half of last year for sure.
Right.
There was a fumble recovery. There was There was a lot of weird things that happened, and they won by 8. The line was 8.5, and that cost us 4 or 5 parlays. We would have won a lot of units if they covered that. We also would have won a lot of units. There was another bet last week that we missed a little bit that didn't go over so well. The Derrick Henry one. Those two combined, we lose 150 plus units just off those 2 bets missing.
Yep, for sure. But the ones you won, but you were up. We are up, and you actually nailed some. So go ahead.
I had talked about Jerry Jeudy and Myers being wide receiver 1s up against bad cornerbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them hit, and Myers went off. He hit like 4 tiers up the ladder of his yardage. He's somebody that a lot of people are putting some units on this week as well. I don't have him listed on here. I don't mind Myers this week as well, though. I think that Monday Night Football game, Chargers versus Vegas versus the Chargers, I think that could be a shootout. Geno Smith had 350 some yards last week, I think. Herbert looked great. That could be a real shootout. We did pretty well off of our hammer of the week, Ladd McConkey.
Yes,
and he made me sweat it. He made me sweat it. But I hedged Ladd McConkey on here a little bit with Quentin Johnson, and I've kind of been on Quentin Johnson for a little while now. I believe he was a first-round pick a couple of years ago. He's had some injuries, and I think I'm a little bit more of a Herbert fan, or think Herbert's better than maybe the public does.
Yeah.
This is plus 734, so we bet 3 units.
Oh, wow.
And we won 25 units off of this alone, 70 yards, which was more than the Myers line, and a little bit above the Quentin Johnston line, which was about 25 yards.
Nice.
And I think they both went up in the 90s. So that did very well.
Very good. Is that it for last week's wrap up?
I think so. I'm happy to talk about this week, what we got.
Before we do that, just want to talk about our show sponsor, the Anchor Bar, the home of the original Buffalo chicken wing. Anchor Bar is the place to watch the Buffalo Bills and all of your favorite sports teams, regardless if you're a Bills fan or not. Go to anchorbar.com to see every location. I believe they have 17 right now. Anchor Bar, fresh, never frozen, jumbo, high-quality chicken wings. Their wings are deep fried and sauced to your liking with over 24 varieties of sauces and dry rubs to choose from. In addition to their famous Anchor Bar original buffalo wings, the Anchor Bar locations have a wide variety of menu choices such as appetizers, boneless wings, chicken tenders, pizza, beef on weck, fresh burgers, sandwiches, salads, and wraps. Currently, Anchor Bar, 16 locations. Did I say they have 24 different sauces? I don't know if I said that or not, but they've got 24 different sauces, but they've got 16 locations with 3 new locations about to open this fall: Tucson, Arizona, Frisco, Texas, and Raleigh, North Carolina. But if you're in the area, if you're around, any of that good stuff, make sure you go see Anchor Bar. And you can also go to anchorbar.com. I believe they do ship as well. Anchor Bar, so glad to be partnered with Anchor Bar, a big Buffalo brand, as we are a big Buffalo brand. And I'm ready for some chicken wings myself, Dan. But getting back into it, what are we at? We are at the overreaction bet of the week, which is the bet that you don't like, the player that people freak out about, the bet that people freak out about, but you are like, stop overreacting to that. Don't pay it any mind. Give it to us.
The absolute worst run defense in the NFL last year by a mile was the Carolina Panthers.
Okay. All right.
But they gave up over 190 yards rushing last year on average.
Wow.
The next closest team gave up 140 some yards.
That's a lot.
Travis Etienne went absolutely off, right?
Yeah.
He hasn't done anything in 2 years. He went off last week. Our overreaction is stay away from Travis Etienne. Now, if he does anything versus a real football team, okay. You don't have to throw the ball versus the Carolina Panthers because their offense doesn't do anything.
Right.
So he went absolutely nuts against a JV run defense. I would not start betting him until he proves he can do it against a real team.
So what you're saying is that the Panthers have proven to you that the problems they had on run defense last year remained. And
week 1 was pretty bad. So yeah,
Travis Etienne was a benefactor of that. So that sounds like probably a pretty good bet for whoever's playing the Panthers this week, right? Whoever's playing them on the ground. So
yeah, that absolutely.
Next would be the underreaction bet of the week. So these are the things that you want to be looking at, the things that maybe Vegas is not necessarily providing to you in a nice little wrapped picturesque bow of this is the one that we've built for you. So you're now going to get into some of the ones that you like.
Detroit. Everything Detroit.
Smash everything Detroit.
Everything Detroit. I mean, I'm never going to put multiple parlays that involve the same thing that contradict each other on the same team. But look at what Green Bay has done with their defense.
Yeah.
Last night, the game was boring.
Yeah.
2 nights ago, or the Green Bay game, it was awful to watch.
Right.
In week 1, they completely stopped Detroit. It looked like Detroit was not even in the same league as them.
Right.
But that doesn't mean Detroit isn't a good football team. That just means that Green Bay's defense is a lot better. And they're playing Chicago. Chicago's terrible. I'm not sure Caleb Williams is a franchise quarterback at all.
We'll see.
Which could hurt a little bit because they're not going to be throwing the ball downfield. But they're playing at Ford Field. Ford Field is the land of the overs. Detroit's home dome, almost every single game for the last year and a half has been an over. I'm a big fan of taking Jameson Williams over 48.5 yards. I want to ladder that a little bit too. I want to take that.
What does that mean by ladder? Talk to me about that.
That's how I bet. It's tiering, it's laddering. When you get even odds at a certain number, which I can certainly share our screen and I will happily show you. Let's go directly to this game. Laddering is when you bet the yardage for better odds of one player more and more and more.
Okay.
So in this situation, we have Jameson Williams, whose number is 48.5. I love that bet. It was almost the hammer of the week, but I couldn't take the whole Lions team and make him the hammer. So if we go to his alternate lines here, which is these are the things that I love the most to bet. That's what we made up money off of last week off of Myers and Quentin Johnson, was taking a little bit above their line for each and combining them and got plus 700.
Gotcha.
So I would bet 48.5 is the line. Then I'd come up to 60 or 70 and put a couple units here, come up to 90, put a few less units, but some, and then like 110.
Gotcha. Okay.
And to where if you pick a player that does really well in the week, you don't want to win even money. I don't want to just win. If I got 100 bets, I don't want to have 50 of them because the juice that Vegas charges, you're going to lose money.
Right.
I want to pick a good player to a week that goes off and make a ton of money off that one player by tiering and laddering their bets.
Gotcha. Very good. So this week, hammer everything Detroit, smash the over at Ford Field, the land of the overs, as you said. Jameis Williams, you got over 45 receiving and a ladder.
Another one for Detroit as well. Last week, Gibbs, who didn't have a lot of rushing yards at all, but he had 10 receptions. So there's plus 42 for 5 receptions on Gibbs this week.
Wow.
And I really like that.
Yeah. It seems like that one, along with that 48.5 for Jameson Williams, seems
probably really good odds.
Probably really good odds. Yeah, for sure. And then last but not least, the hammer bet of the week, which is the bet that you like the most. And you're telling people to go out and hammer it with as many units as you can possibly hammer it with.
Week 1, somebody that I had on this screen that did very well, RB1, who has a just mauling offensive line with 3 first-rounders on it in the last couple of years. Hammer of the week's Javonte Williams, over 53.5 yards, and there's a lot of reasons for this. One, he had a very good game week 1, and if CeeDee Lamb isn't dropping the ball left and right, he probably has an even better game. He's playing the Giants. The Giants last week was a worse defense, run defense than Carolina was.
Right.
Look at what the Commanders did last 2 nights ago against Green Bay.
Yep, last night. Thursday night against Green Bay.
Look what they did against Green Bay.
Right.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. 220 rushing yards against the Giants the Commanders had.
Point made.
And now you have a substantially better offensive line, a better running back.
Right.
RB1, 53.5 yards. Hammer. Javonte Williams.
Go after it. Very good. What else you got?
There's a couple other lines I definitely like overall, and I'll share the screen for everything that we bet for the week overall for the whole 100 units.
Okay.
I wouldn't put Javonte Williams in a bet with CeeDee Lamb. I don't like putting the same team in a parlay at all.
Oh,
Because
interesting.
if one guy does really good, then you're taking away from the opportunity from the other person from doing good in
Right.
general. That's why I don't really like the same game parlay, this and that, or at least for yardage standpoint. I like CD Lamb over 78.5 yards. He had 110 yards last week, and he kind of looked dominant until he just stopped dropping the ball out of nowhere.
Right.
He could have went for 180 yards last week if he just caught the ball.
Hung on to it.
And then that Monday Night Football matchup, you've got two lines for the quarterbacks. They're in the 240s, low 250s. Both quarterbacks went way over 300 yards. I think that could be a real shootout. So Herbert and Geno Smith, I like both of them for over yardage. And let's share everything that we put in for the whole week here. So we got the Breece Hall tiered and laddered, like I said. I took Josh Palmer for a little bit, Geno Smith, we've in Herbert, then everything Lions. We went everything Lions. Javonte Williams, tiered and laddered Javonte Williams, CD Lamb, just as we discussed. And then we put a couple little two-team feelers together.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we put in for the week. Now, I believe we got asked for a still shot of everything that was our big bets of the week. Here you go. Screenshot it, put it in, make some money.
So just for those that are not online with us currently where you can see it, it's Bills, Breece Hall over 57.5 yards rushing and ladder. Cook over 75.5 yards rushing and receiving if Hammy comes into play with Ray Davis.
Yes, that's actually really big. Right now there are no lines anywhere that involve Ray Davis rushing. They just can't be found. If you get news that James Cook hamstring is even remotely a factor, go start looking for Ray Davis's lines immediately and put money on it. Because if he ends up being RB1, the lines will come out super low and he's going to run the ball. But right now, because James Cook is, I don't even think he's questionable. He's probable with a little bit of a hamstring. There's no lines on Ray Davis at all. But
Josh Palmer TD plus 390, 2 TDs plus 4,500. The overreaction, which means stay away from it. Don't overreact to it, is the ETN. The underreaction, the one that you're looking for, is everything Lions. Hammer the Lions. Jameson Williams over 48.5. Jameson Williams 4+ receptions. Gibbs 5+ receptions plus 142. And then the hammer of the week, Javonte Williams over 53.5 yards. Dan, great job. Are you excited for this week? I'm excited.
Yeah, divisional matchups. Back-to-back weeks. I really wish we had Oliver, of course. And again, Thursday night football. I like being able to prepare against these like terrible teams. And Thursday night, we always seem to play some divisional matchups, so the games aren't as good. I think we should win both games. I am concerned about Sunday, especially missing Ed Oliver and just the way the matchups work. We have Josh Allen. If I'm putting my money on anything, it's going to be on the Bills, but I would not bet this game. I would probably on Thursday night just assume we squash Miami.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we got to figure out that too, when we're going to come live for everybody. Maybe Thursday during the day or something like that. We're going to have to figure out when we're going to drop this show as it pertains to just we're still in the details. We haven't figured out all the details. As last
really
week
tough with the timing. For a little context here, Thursday night football comes out. The lines usually come out like Wednesday midday. Right now, you can't get lines for any game on Monday Night Football as of right now.
Yeah, not yet.
Still, to this moment, and the Sunday games have just come out. So I'm a big fan of taking yardage bets for like second wide receivers and whatnot. They're not available until late Friday, early Saturday, and we can't record a show on Thursday if the lines aren't available.
Exactly right. But going into this next week against the Dolphins, with it being a Thursday night game, who knows? Maybe we'll do a quick Bills segment, like a 10 or 15-minute segment, and then do a segment for the weekend on Saturday or Friday. We'll figure something out. That's why you want to have the notifications on YouTube, so that you get notified when the show comes on and you can get your bets. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to Mafia Bets on the Overreaction Buffalo Sports Network, presented by FanDuel. My name is Joe. That over there is Dan. He is Dan the man, our betting professional. And as I said it last week, and I told myself I was going to write a script, and I didn't. This is for entertainment purposes as much as we are using real units. But if you, do what you got to do to enjoy it and have fun, but don't get carried away. Don't
have to bet. You do not. And bet less. You don't have to bet.
Right.
I've been saying that all week on social media.
But if you've got a gambling problem, if you need help and you can't keep it under control, there are places you can go to get help. So make sure that you Google those. I probably should have a flash screen someplace that pops up with the number. But for me, for John, for Jerry, for Dan, for all of us here at Overreaction, we love you guys. We appreciate you. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.